Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our final meeting of 2021, December 21st, at the library here at the high school. The meeting is being recorded and can be viewed on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 37. All meeting videos are also posted on the Millis Public Schools website under School Committee. All videos are also available on YouTube and are live streaming right now, and all times are approximate. Judy, has anyone signed in for open session? No. Okay, I shall take attendance. Mr. Conroy.
Here.
Mr. Catalan.
Here.
Ms. Gibbons.
Here.
Ms. Roach is not here. Ms. Copies. Here. And Jen. Here. Here. And Mr. Mulaney.
Here.
And I am here as well. Should we start with our action items? Consideration to approve the December 7th school committee meeting minutes.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Kettle.
I make a motion to approve the December 7th, 2021 school committee meeting minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, student rep. You want to come up?
Hello.
Hi.
So tonight is the Millis High School Band and Chorus concert, the winter one, and it's at 7 tomorrow night. And the Liaisons Club just ended their toy drive yesterday, and it's going to a project in Hopkinton called Project Just Because. And they have all toys. Everyone brought in toys to for the kids. And now the Liaisons Club is having a winter gear drive. It's hats, mittens, coats, and gently used winter clothing. And you can bring them into Mr. Koff's room. And it's for the homeless shelters, and it's going through January 31st. And the Peer Leaders Thrift pop-up is looking for donations for gently used clothing. And all donations will be going to Mrs. Dunn and Mr. A. That's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Right. The teacher rep, Ms. Copies, would you like to come up?
Good evening. So, from the Clyde Brown has had a very successful drive for the Millis Food Bank. The students have been bringing items such as shampoo, soap, and toothpaste. These were items the food bank had indicated they needed the most, and for the past couple of weeks, Mrs. Malloy has delivered multiple carloads of the needed items, and the food bank has expressed their appreciation and the support shown from the CFB families. The Clyde Brown report cards will be going home on December 23rd, and they will be including a survey similar to the end of last school year. The middle school library moving on to the middle school. The school library teen council now includes middle school members. After the break, the group will be working on updates to the new graphic manga area. A recent grant from the NCTA has allowed for the purchase of some posters and decoratives. Congratulations to the Millis Middle School students, Lainey Brzezinska, Neely Wainwright, Gianna Scotland, Cassidy Cook, and Madison Brzezinska, who were members of the Millis Medway 12U and 14U cheer teams that won the national championships in Florida earlier this month. The 7th grade science classes, along with the high school Fisher Friends groups, have been getting the Eastern Brook trout eggs delivered by the Massachusetts Department of Fisheries and Wildlife. They will be spending several months raising the trout fry and working towards answering the driving question: how can we use the Eastern Brook trout to educate the Millis community about the Charles River watershed? And then those will get released in the spring. I think you've participated in the release before, Bob, haven't you?
I have, yes.
It's exciting.
It was great. It was tough to see him go.
Well, they were kind of your only friends during lockdown.
They were the only other living things. They were the only other living things in this building during
Bob and the trout.
COVID in March of 2020.
The students in the grade 8 math classes have been learning about number systems and collaborating to solve from digital escape rooms. At the high school, the second quarter progress reports are now available in PowerSchool. Parents can log into the parent portal and see current grades and comments. And the quarter 2 will actually end on January 21st, which always comes up really quickly after break. Last week, in conjunction with the middle school, the high school did a shelter-in-place drill during the school day. After the approximately 10-minute drill, the administrative team met with the police to debrief, and in the coming weeks, we will also be practicing some lockdown drills in the building. The safety of our students in the school is always a top priority, and they hope never to have to use these protocols, but we're glad to practice them and make sure we have them in place. Last week, the high school took the JED Foundation survey during our advisory. Let's see. Oh, the Crimson Post, the newspaper, has released its first print edition in 2 years. You can find a copy in the office, or I think it looks like y'all have one there.
We do.
Excellent. And this was under the tutelage of this year's new editor, Ben Podelka, and the dedicated staff of Jaden Adams, Devin Gatz, Monacy Kale, Maddie Miga, Caitlin Richards, and Annie Rolag. Junior bass clarinetist Lydia Scanlon has been selected to participate in the 2022 MMEA Eastern Division Musical Festival and has been invited to audition for a seat in the All-State Concert Band. The Chem Club has been working on copper-plated ornaments this week, as we've been looking at how redox reactions can have practical applications in life. The acid removes the zinc from a galvanized steel plate, and then we're able to transfer copper ions onto the iron, and that's how you get copper plating. It's kind of fun. And last evening, in a lovely showing, 33 students were inducted into the Millis High School chapter of the National Honor Society. There were 32 of the current senior class and 1 of last year's class of 2021. And it was a very nice ceremony. Do you agree, Mr. Mulaney?
Absolutely.
Lovely, actually.
One of my favorites.
It was a nice time. Thanks to Mr. Alcanada for organizing that. And then just as a fun reminder for the middle school, high school, we have, well, for all 3 buildings, we have our early release this week. For the middle school, high school, it's 10:55. And I don't actually know what time the Clyde Browns is.
I think 11:20, 11:20.
It's been a while since I had a student at Clyde Brown.
11:25.
11:20. And that's about all I have for this evening, so thank you.
Thanks.
I just read in the Crimson Post that sometime in the spring, the chemistry club, which I believe you're familiar with,
Yes.
will be making cheese.
Yes, we had earned a grant from, we got a grant from the Mills Cultural Council to purchase cheese making supplies last year. And so by the time the money came in, actually our treasurer, Riley Conroy, has processed and made the order for us. We just got our supplies in this week.
They're good
And so in
with
the
money.
spring,
The
we'll be-
Conrays know how to move buckets, move money.
So yeah, the kids want to make, we've made soft cheese last year, they want to make hard cheese this year. So I don't know how it'll come out. I've never made hard cheese before. I'll keep you posted.
Please do.
We have good samples,
Excellent.
we'll bring them to a meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to time and learning, we have.
You're good like that.
So if you
Multitasker.
guys could come on up to the microphone here. Do you have another chair?
Thanks for having us. My
coming.
name's
Thanks for being
Mary
here.
Kalo. Yeah, and this is Scott Humphreys.
Hello.
We're the co-chairs for Cpac, and we thought we would just come and give you an update as to what we've been up to since we last saw you, last in July, I think.
Yeah.
So we've had a pretty busy fall. We have done a number of things. First, we have worked to establish a mutually supportive relationship with the new Director of Student Services. We've had very regular contact with Neely. We've met with her frequently, and she's attended our meetings, our member meetings as well. So she's been very involved, and so that's been wonderful to get to work collaboratively with her. We've also worked to increase our community outreach and engagement. Some of the ways that we've done this is we've collaborated with the Millis Police and Fire Department on several of our fall events, and have also continued to collaborate with the Millis Public Library, who is a wonderful partner with Cpac. Rachel Silverman, we cannot say enough. And the Millis Public Library has worked with us to expand our current parent resource and book titles in the library, available to the community. They've helped us market upcoming events. They have displayed our newly developed and created brochures, and they have partnered with us on some fall events. So in addition, we've worked on improving our marketing and communication. So we've developed and distributed some Cpac brochures that include updated contact information and resources. So now These brochures are available near the office at Clyde Brown. They're available here, I think. I'm not in this building, so I haven't seen them. They're displayed at the library, so they're available around town for folks in the community to see. Scott worked very hard on developing and launching a new website that is going to be hopefully our official hub of communication. Feel free to check it out. It's milliscpac.com. It's
.org.
.org. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
.org. And it has all our upcoming events listed, contact information. You are able to contact us through a
Contact page.
A contact
Yeah,
page. The website is not my thing. Anyways, it's excellent. So take a look in your free time. And we've also worked to establish parent liaisons for each school. So we have a parent liaison for Clyde Brown, the middle school, and the high school now. Clyde Brown is Valerie Sumner. The middle school is Casey Woodley, and the high school is Russet Morrow. And so these three women have agreed to work as liaisons to help facilitate communication between the school and families, and to increase family engagement and collaboration. In terms of fall events, we held a successful bake sale fundraiser in collaboration with the Millis Fire Department during their open house in October. And the funds that we raised for that day will support additional workshops in the spring for our community members. We held a virtual parents' rights workshop presented by the Federation for Children with Special Needs. The topic was evaluation and eligibility, and we had 17 parents enrolled and approximately 10 attendees. So we felt pretty good about that.
One we run every year, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's one that we run each year. It was virtual this year, and it went really well. We collaborated with the Millis Public Library to throw a community Halloween party, and Millis Police and the Fire Department also collaborated on that event. There was hundreds of kids there. It was really a great success. It
Yep.
was really just about engaging the community and having fun. And really normalizing involvement with the Cpac.
Yep, everyone was invited, huge turnout.
Yep.
And like you said, the library was great to partner with, the police and fire department, amazing too. Really amazing and cooperative with us.
And we tried a hybrid membership meeting over at the library. So we allowed people to come in person and also Zoom in. And that was a success. The technology was a success. We had very low attendance at that meeting. But we did have someone Zoom in, and we did have folks who were in the room. So we were able to see how that would work.
It was a general meeting. I mean, there was no real theme to it other than we're doing our occasional quarterly meeting and the quarterly.
Yeah, we're going to do one each semester. So one in the
semester,
fall,
so-
one in the spring.
Okay.
And then we had a virtual parents' rights workshop, a second one, in early December. The topic was bullying. It was also put on by the Federation for Children with Special Needs. And it was 24 people enrolled in this and 15 attended. So it was fairly high attendance.
Yeah, and it was a great workshop. It
Excellent.
really was an excellent workshop.
We really have found that the virtual workshops have expanded our reach in terms of getting people to come to these workshops. They're later in the evening. It's hard to get out of the house. I mean, 7:30 tonight was
Now, some people said, I don't think I can make it if it was in person, so.
yeah.
I think as sick as
Yep.
people are of the virtual meetings and their workday, the stuff in the evenings and the community things, I think it works well for it. And it's good for these type of information sessions, I think.
And it's allowed us to connect with some folks in CPACs outside of Millis. So we've seen new faces.
There's been crossover, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
some
promote
new
their
Millis
events, they'll
faces.
promote ours, and
Yeah.
and we see people from our group go to their events and vice versa, so
Yeah.
it's nice.
So it's been, we feel that overall it's been a pretty successful fall. And Scott's going to tell you a little bit about our spring
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, so we have some events lined up for the spring, including the another parents' rights workshop on understanding the IEP and 504. We have an exact date in February scheduled. I just wrote down February 2022, but the website milliscpac.org will have the exact date and time, as well as some of these other events I'm about to mention. So we have an escape room event at the Millis Public Library, like the Halloween event in the fall. it's open for everybody. And here we're going to sponsor it, have our name on it, and again, just put us out there in the community, get some marketing name recognition, pass out things like we did at the first event to people who approach us for information about Cpac.
And our hope for that one is to target an older population of kids, so the Halloween party was really for little ones. The escape room is to target grades 4 through 8, so we're hoping to pull in some of those, tween kids.
So we're working on a date in the spring for that. I think February, March is what it says here. We threw around possibly even April. Virtual education workshop presented in collaboration with the Massachusetts Bureau of Special Education Appeals. So we're going to work with them on an educational workshop that they're offering to organizations like ours for free. And it's another event on the calendar that parents can attend and get some very helpful information about. That will take place in March. And then we are going to get one more parents' rights workshop by the Federation on the calendar for April. That one will be the transition planning workshop. So working on that for April. We'll do another hybrid meeting, membership meeting in April or May. And we're planning a parent social at the end of the year. We have some thoughts on that. I still have to reach out to your contact at Seventh Wave Brewing, but we're thinking about having it there. So that is it for the 2021 to 2022 schedule. We are brainstorming for the next academic year and have talked about student mental health and social emotional wellness as a topic for providing information and having a resource and workshops about, and also district early literacy curriculum, including dyslexia screening, early transparency and collaboration with parents, and intervention progression and time frame between next steps. So again, that's for next year. We're talking about what's with early literacy curriculum.
And can you just say, so that people are watching, what Cpac stands for?
Sure. Special Education Parent Advisory Council.
And you don't have to have a student in special ed to participate in the events or to go to your meeting.
No, absolutely not. So anyone who has a child in the district who has any concerns or wants to know more about special education can contact us. They can email us at milliscpac@gmail.com, or they can come to .org. I always say .org.
Oh, no, you're right. Actually, it is gmail.com.
All right.
You got that.
I got that one. As I said, 7:30 is tough. Or they can come to any of our events at any time. We would love to have them.
Yep, we want to be a resource to them, someone to listen to, but also, providing practical information for them as they try to learn more about how best to serve their student, whether they're on an IEP or 504 plan or not.
Any questions?
I just say thank you. Well, one, thanks for coming, but also the amount of work and outreach and events and things you guys are doing is more than I've ever heard about and seen. I think it's great. So thank you guys.
I was
for doing
just going to
that.
say that. I've been
Yeah.
on for 11 years. Now, I know that Cpac's been around and doing things, but it seems like you guys have really taken it and run with it and really grown what you're doing. So thank you. And these presentations to us have been very helpful
Great.
for us to understand and then to help if in any way that we can to get the information out for you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your hard work on this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye. We're selling Girl Scout cookies. If you want. I'm trying, Robin. I'm trying.
Website looks great.
I couldn't get on it. It said it was blocked.
You can get on it? Oh, I'm on it. It looks
They
great.
blocked you. Well,
You're blocked.
You're blocked, Robin.
This Gibbons knows how to get around those things, apparently.
I know.
Yeah. I got a little practice.
Okay, so moving on to the chair report, we're talking about the metrics for unmatched. We had a public safety meeting today. Do you want to speak to that?
We had health and safety, and we spent a decent amount. There's been a lot of cases. We're in the middle of a Millis surge, which I don't think we're any different than anyone else. And we spent most of the meeting talking about kind of the test and stay and protocols, and whether we should be, and these are still just conversations, there's nothing set in stone, but should we modify our test and stay program for close contacts in kids who play sports, right? Right now, because that's a high-risk activity. They're on top of each other, their masks are continually falling down, they're pushing into each other. There's just a lot of contact, so.
You're talking about for vaccinated students?
For anyone.
For any student. Okay.
For vaccinated or unvaccinated, because the test and stay, thank you. The test and stay is for unvaccinated students. And we're saying with sports, and so to date, we have not had an in-school contact, right? But it doesn't matter because there are kids, whether they get it inside or outside, it still impacts their learning and it impacts the building. So we're just trying to get a handle on this, and because the Omicron, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Omicron.
Yeah.
Omicron. Don't. The variant.
You can
that's
say it with a Greek
ripping-
accent if you want.
The
Omicron.
Omicron.
There you go.
The variant that's ripping through this country right now is we're hoping that it stays where the impact on people's health is limited and there's not a lot of deaths and there's not a lot of hospitalizations, but it's still fairly new. So we're just trying to anticipate. We are hoping to get through the next day and a half, give us a little breathing room. But everyone's going to be gathering over the holidays, so we'll be having early conversations in January. So that was a decent part of the conversation. There was also a part of the conversation about the basketball fans and, well, overall the gym. There is not, and I said this a couple weeks ago, there is not a lot of mask, or we don't have 100% compliance with mask wearing by spectators. Some of the athletes, my son included, it's coming down, they're fighting it, and I see that, but I will treat the athletes separate from this part of the conversation. If you're sitting in the stands, there is absolutely no reason why your mask should be down at your chin, right? And so I was thinking of this today because we talked about it earlier. If part of the issue is people are keeping their mask down so they can slowly sip a coffee or a water, then maybe we shouldn't allow outside food and drink. And no one has a reason to take down their mask at all. So I don't think we should. It feels odd. It gives the boosters the ability to raise some money. But there are people, in my opinion, that are just purposely not wearing their mask. And it's creating an awkward environment for everyone in the gym. And if things get bad over the holidays into January, I myself, as much as I want to see my son play, and Mark's got players there, and Bob wants to go see the games, I'd be fine without spectators. If the games are for the kids, they're not for the family and friends. And I'm not ready to do that yet, but if people continue to flaunt, and we don't have compliance, and we also don't have, we need to step up the staff policing. An announcement is one thing. Policing by the staff, the officials that are working there, not the coaches, the officials. That's just part and parcel.
No.
Mark saw some of the game. He was there for the girls after.
Yeah, no, it's again, this is not any different. I was at Dover Sherburne last
That's right.
Friday night, and it was the same thing. You know, it's predominant, well, it's all spectators. It's parents, it's students, it's everybody, where at best 50%. That's at best. And there is, like Steve said, again, and this is not just, it's the same situation at the other schools we've been to, there's no actual enforcement. And I get that. We came out of the fall and things were, everything was really good. Just look at Millis. We had 10 cases in 3 buildings yesterday. We've had over 20 cases in the last 2 weeks. These are also cases that are going kid to kid. Kids are getting it, vaccinated or not. And aside from that, so now we've got, we're creating these environments where you've got our whole student section. This is not a huge gym, not a huge place. It's a lot of fun when you're sitting in that section and everybody's jammed in and you're enjoying the game, good game. It's a lot of fun. But at the same time, we are creating an environment where people are not masked, and we are running the risk, especially in these last 2 weeks. I mean, we got a situation right now where we have high school students who were exposed over the weekend that we're dealing with. A week ago, we had it run through the 4th grade. Some of it tied to non-school sports teams. It's everywhere, and this is, as much as there's fatigue, I think this, in the last few weeks, is actually now the time where people really need to be a little bit more conscious. And yes, as Steve said, I think we as a district and as an administration, the governor issued this morning, it's not a mandate, but a recommendation for vaccinated and unvaccinated in all public buildings, people should have their masks on. The MIAA, within 2 hours, reissued the statement that they've put out. Now, I have not seen one game official, let alone anybody else, enforce anything at any of these schools. I mean, I've seen articles about how basically it was a joke down in the Cape. Same thing. Article in the Cape Cod Times about how no one's wearing a mask at these games. Listen, the risk we're running is we're going to get it and we're going to knock one of these teams out or more of these teams. And then these teams are going to lose multiple weeks and not be able to play at all. Or everybody can take the steps that we should and wear your mask over your nose while you're doing it. And yeah, Steve's right. If we can't do that and we continue down this path and we start getting more exposures, we're going to have to consider whether we let people in the gym or not.
We did that last year.
Right.
And, we hope we can continue having it. People that want to go to the games, but we know that we can limit it too if it becomes an issue.
Northeastern just, no spectators at any of their sports. They did it for like a 2-week period. I don't know, to be extended, but it's not just us. There are other people having the same conversation about that. So,
Well, we're seeing it in the professional sports too. The NHL
That's
shut
right.
down for a couple
And
weeks.
Springfield, I saw yesterday, the town of Springfield, they suspended their winter sports until at least mid-January because of COVID cases.
Yeah.
So
just wear your mask. I mean, for Christ's sake. That's odd.
Nothing is perfect, and things are going to happen. But if we can take the precautions that we should to make the safest environment possible, we're doing ourselves a favor. Right? But if we can't create that environment, we're going to have to consider alternatives.
I have skin in the game. I'm speaking for myself. I have 100% skin in the game. I want to see my son play basketball, right? And so, but we got to do something about that. So I don't know. We have games on Thursday,
There's games over winter break.
and then I don't know when the next game is after that, but we got to figure something out. And community members need to step up, students need to step up, game officials need to step up. We all need to chip in here, right? It's a joint effort.
How are we doing with vaccination rates for the 6th grade? I know that there's a vaccination clinic coming up for
right? There was one last Sunday for 5 to 11. I think there was 80 kids.
That's good.
Wow.
And they'll be scheduling the second one sometime in a few weeks. There's also a clinic for 12 plus on January 8th over at Clyde Brown, so people can get their boosters and things like that. Yeah. So I don't have the exact numbers right now, but in talking to Ms. Danahy, we had our first kid at Clyde Brown who didn't have to quarantine because that kid was fully vaccinated. So progress.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to say the nurses again have been unbelievable since the spike. Ms. Danahy and Ms. Molinari was going over to help, and Mrs. Lordy were going over to Clyde Brown last week, and they tested upwards of 60 kids for test and stay, and it's working, and they're doing incredible amounts of work, and doing things beyond the school day. Just their dedication is just incredible.
Yeah, they've been amazing.
Yeah.
They've been really good.
Yeah.
Since day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so they can definitely use this break coming up.
So I'm assuming that the resources that we were supposed to get from the state to come and help with testing for test and stay
Yeah.
never arrived. It was part of the program that they were supposed to send. I know we never counted on it because we figured that we would be in this
and
situation.
they started out doing kind of some of the larger districts that needed the resources, and our nurses were able to cover it. And we're at the point now where our nurses have, have systems in place that are pretty streamlined.
Yep.
And introducing someone from CIC Health is the the vendor for the, from what we've heard, our nurses can do a better job. And we've been trying to help them out. So last week we had substitute nurses in to kind of, pick up some of the slack.
Yep.
Mr. Mulaney, for 2 weeks, had his morning coffee up at the driveway. He said, Jody, I'll be right back. I'm going to go meet the state. And he never came.
It was like Linus
And he
with
would
the
come
great
down with his empty
pumpkin.
cup of coffee, so dejected because somehow the bureaucracy of the state did not fulfill its promises.
No. That story is not entirely true. I don't drink coffee, Mr. Catalano.
Anything else on?
That's enough.
Moving on to Fit for Life rating.
Yeah, I just have an update on that. This fall,
Can you explain what that is?
Sure. Fit for Life is a phys ed course in the high school for sophomores, and then Fit for Life 2 runs second semester. So sophomores take phys ed semester 1, and then juniors and seniors take phys ed semester 2. Freshmen take health, so PE and health curriculum runs in that way. And then there's also an elective course, outdoor pursuit, leadership and outdoor pursuits, which again is an elective course, which juniors and seniors can take in lieu of Fit 2. And in the Fit 1 courses, we use heart rate monitors. And so this fall, there were a number of concerns regarding Fit for Life 1 cardio unit. And the cardio unit was an 18-day unit in the curriculum where heart rate monitors were used to measure time in a target heart rate zone. Activities and assessments were based on students achieving 35 minutes in their target zone for 3 classes during a 6-week period. And there was some concern, particularly among students who participated in the high-intensity interscholastic athletics, that the combination of those athletic practices and games combined with the cardio unit might be contributing to fatigue or overtraining. And so, while we look into these concerns, we were looking at possible solution. We haven't come up with anything yet. So while we're looking into the concerns and until we arrive at some accommodations and or adaptations to that unit, we're going to suspend that unit in the physical education classes, the cardio unit. And we also want to work with our athletic teams, with the trainer, to make sure that, we're looking at this issue of overtraining and so forth from that aspect as well. So we're suspending the cardio unit until further notice. Students will continue to wear the heart rate monitors in PE for teaching purposes. The teachers use them to demonstrate to kids, their own levels of fitness and activity and things like that, and used to, as an aid in assessing the effort in the class. But we're not going to be using the heart rate monitors to assess and evaluate cardiorespiratory fitness, nor assign grades based on time in zone moving forward. We continue to think that the heart rate monitors are a great tool that can be used to provide kids with individual data about their own workouts and help them set goals and achieve those goals. But as far as right now, we're taking a step back from the cardio unit.
Madam Chair. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to thank both Mr. Mullaney and Mr. Dickey, who I know for the last couple of months have been, gathering information and working on this. And it is taking information provided by parents and students about concerns that have, popped up here and there over the last couple of years, but definitely we're more focused this fall with some tangible examples. And hopefully, as this gets worked through, there's a way to adapt the program that, does speak to personalized learning that we do everywhere else, where, maybe the out-of-the-box program that's been run needs some adaptation for what is probably a minority of the student body, but it's important, and hopefully we can get there.
Yeah.
Madam Chair. Mr. Mullaney, if memory serves, I think that program's also run in, is it 8th grade maybe in the middle school?
Yeah.
So will it apply to that one as well?
All the PE classes.
Okay.
So again, they'll still be using heart rate monitors,
Sure.
but not in the way that they've been using them in the cardio.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No, it's just happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, and to you as well, everybody.
Great, and stay healthy.
Yes.
As we always come to the end of the year, I love the calendar that we get. And I know Mr. Conroy's a big fan of from the senior senator from Massachusetts,
Yes.
Elizabeth
Now
Warren.
COVID positive.
I can still look at the calendar. I'm assuming it's clean, but I will.
I'm not sure she stuffed the.
No,
Yeah, she
yeah.
probably did.
Didn't they say
never-
no surface
You never-
transmission,
That's
right?
right. You now know that.
No surface transmission?
We good? Madam Chair.
We have
No executive session.
Madam-
On my end.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
seconded roll call vote,
No?
Nope.
not on not going into.
Right?
No, we don't-
Only
yeah, we
if we
don't
go
have
to
to.
executive, yeah.
2021 is done.
Hi.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned until January 4th.
Oh my goodness, 2022.